Imagine if the secret to unwavering tranquility wasn't in managing the external world, but in conquering your inner realm. Picture an existence where no outside event, person, or situation could disrupt your internal harmony. Sounds unattainable, right? Yet, this isn't a far-off dream reserved for spiritual leaders or mystics. It's a reality within your grasp. The fact is, you've been seeking peace in the wrong places. You've been led to believe that peace arises from achieving success, gaining approval, or avoiding discomfort. But what if peace has always been within you, waiting to be discovered? What if the turmoil you feel isn't a reflection of the world but a mirror of your own mind? You lack peace. It's been absent for a long time, even though you pretend otherwise. You're stuck in a cycle of unmanageable thoughts, overwhelming emotions, and a lingering void you can't quite explain. Worse still, you've come to accept this as normal. You've been persuaded that peace is a luxury for the enlightened few, while you're destined for an endless internal struggle. But that's a falsehood. Inner peace isn't an unreachable ideal. It's not about perfection or the absence of conflict. It's about how you perceive the world around you, because reality, as solid as it seems, is merely a projection of what's inside you. Consider this. Two people can experience the same event, yet one is devastated while the other remains composed. Why? Because it's not what happens to you that matters, but how you interpret it. Your mind is a filter shaped by years of beliefs, wounds, and unconscious patterns. Carl Jung said it perfectly. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. You are a captive of your mental programming. Since childhood, you've absorbed ideas, fears, and reactions that you now believe are your own, but they're not. They were imposed on you by your parents, society, and the experiences that shaped you. Every time you react without thinking, every time fear, anger, or sadness takes over, it's not really you. It's the wounded child within you still in control. The question is, how long will you let that child run your life? Most people never stop to question this. They live on autopilot, repeating the same patterns, making the same mistakes, and feeling the same pain over and over. They see life as a series of uncontrollable events, and as long as they do, they'll remain trapped. True freedom isn't about controlling what happens to you. It's about controlling how you respond to it. That's where unwavering tranquility begins. It's not about rejecting your emotions or silencing your thoughts. It's about observing them without letting them define you. Because you are not your mind. You are not the voice in your head that torments you. You are the one who listens, the one who observes, the awareness behind it all. But you've forgotten that. And as long as you believe you are every thought that crosses your mind, you'll remain at the mercy of chaos. The secret isn't to eliminate negative emotions, but to stop fighting them. When you resist, you give them power. When you accept them, they lose their grip. Imagine your mind as a river. If you try to stop the current, you'll exhaust yourself. But if you learn to flow with it, you'll realize you are never the water. You were the observer on the shore. That's true power. Inner peace isn't about the world being perfect. It's about nothing external having the power to knock you off balance. To achieve that, you need to practice presence. Be here now, not in the past, reliving old wounds, or in the future, anticipating fears. This moment is all that exists. The mind will try to drag you away, filling you with doubts, stories, and memories. But you are not those thoughts. If you can see the mind as a tool rather than your identity, you'll find freedom. Emotional freedom is the only kind that truly matters. The Stoics understood this. It's not what happens to you, but how you respond to it. That's the difference between suffering and peace, between being a victim and being in control. If you truly grasp this, you'll realize that no one and nothing can take your calm away. Peace isn't out there. It's inside you. You just have to claim it. So, are you going to let the noise of the world dictate your inner state, or are you going to take control? But here's what no one tells you. True peace isn't just about perception. It's about power. Not power over others, but power over yourself. And that's where most people fail. Everyone wants peace, but few are willing to do the work to achieve it. Do you know the greatest enemy of your peace? Distraction. And I'm not just talking about social media or external noise. I'm talking about internal distraction, the inability to be alone with yourself, the need to fill every moment with stimulation because silence terrifies you. Why? Because in silence, the truth emerges. The truth about who you are, what you've avoided, and the fears you're still carrying. Most people aren't ready to face that. They distract themselves with noise, busyness, and endless activity because when the world goes quiet, their demons start to speak, and that's unbearable. But here's the secret. The only way to find real peace is by facing that silence, not running from it, not numbing it. Inner peace isn't the absence of conflict. It's the ability to remain calm amidst chaos, and that can only happen when you dare to look within without fear. The problem is, we live in a society that discourages introspection. Everything is designed to keep you distracted. Consumerism, the need for validation, the obsession with being busy. It's a trap meant to keep you asleep, because if you never stop to think about yourself, you'll never discover your true power. And here's where something few understand comes into play. The power of detachment. If you want unwavering tranquility, you must learn to let go, not just of grudges or past pain, but of the need to control everything, the need for life to meet your expectations. That's the root of suffering, resistance to what is. Look around you. Most people are in a constant battle with reality. They want things to be different. They want people to act as they expect. They want the world to conform to their desires. And when it doesn't, they suffer. They get angry, frustrated, or sad. But reality doesn't care what you want, so why fight it? The key is to accept what you can't control and focus on what you can. Your perception, your reaction, your inner state. That's true power. Everything else is noise. When you let go of the need for control, you stop being a victim of circumstances, and that's when you're truly free. But letting go isn't easy. It requires a radical shift in how you see life. You must understand that attachment to anything external, people, opinions, outcomes, is a chain you've placed on yourself. As long as you're tied to the external, you'll never have peace. You'll always be at the mercy of what happens outside you. So, are you willing to let go? Are you ready to give up the illusion of control and accept life as it is? Because that's the only way to free yourself. And here's where everything connects. Inner peace, detachment, perception. They all point to one truth. Life is a mirror. It reflects what you are, not what you want. If there's chaos inside you, you'll see chaos everywhere. If there's calm inside you, nothing can disturb you. But that calm isn't found outside. It's not in better circumstances, more money, or other people's approval. It's in how you choose to interpret what happens. That's why the real question isn't how to find peace. It's this. Are you ready to stop resisting life and start living in harmony with it? Because when you do, you'll realize something incredible. The peace you've been searching for outside has always been inside you. You just had to remove what was blocking it. The true test of your inner peace isn't calm. It's the storm. Anyone can feel peaceful when life is easy, but real peace is what you maintain when everything around you is falling apart. And that's where most people fail. They think peace comes from fixing their relationships, achieving their goals, or gaining more money. They believe that if the outside world aligns with their desires, they'll finally feel calm. But that's the fatal mistake, because as long as your peace depends on something outside you, it will never truly be yours. It will always be something the world can take away. That's where resilience comes in. And resilience isn't just about enduring pain. It's about transforming it into growth. It's about using even the darkest moments to become stronger, wiser, and freer. Look at the people who've achieved unwavering tranquility. What do they have in common? They haven't had easy lives. They faced adversity, pain, and challenges. But instead of letting those experiences destroy them, they used them to grow. That's the difference between sinking and rising. What you do with your pain. Peace isn't found by avoiding suffering. It's found by changing your relationship with it. Life will hurt you. Pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. The difference lies in how you interpret it. When something hurts, you have two choices. Let it define you or use it to grow. Most people let pain trap them in resentment, victimhood, or nostalgia. But those who understand life turn pain into fuel. They use it to evolve, to become someone who doesn't falter in the face of adversity. Look at nature. A forest needs fire to regenerate. Coal needs pressure to become a diamond, and you are no different. What hurts you today could strengthen you tomorrow if you choose to see it that way. If you ask the right question, how can I use this to grow? And here's the most powerful part. When you start seeing life this way, everything changes. You stop fearing pain. You stop resisting what happens because you know that no matter what, you can turn it into something valuable. When you no longer fear losing anything, when you know that even in the worst storm you can find strength, that's when you achieve true peace. But there's one obstacle: attachment to identity. You've been told you are a certain way, that your past, your story, your labels define you, and that becomes a prison. Because when you believe you are your story, you cling to it. You cling to your wounds, your traumas, your old beliefs, because without them, who are you? That's the question that terrifies most people. That's why they keep reliving the same patterns, even when they know it harms them. The ego prefers the known, even if the known is suffering. But here's the truth. To achieve unwavering tranquility, you must be willing to die. Not physically, but psychologically. You must let go of the version of you that's trapped in the past. You must release the story you've told yourself about who you are and open up to the possibility of being someone new. And that's scary, because the ego hates uncertainty. But in that uncertainty lies freedom. When you stop clinging to a fixed identity, you stop reacting automatically. You stop living with the same fears, the same patterns, the same limits. You become flexible, adaptable, unshakable. That's the true revolution. It's not about controlling life, but about flowing with it without losing yourself. Because life isn't a battle to win. It's a river to navigate. So, are you ready to let go of the story that traps you? Are you ready to stop seeing pain as an enemy and start using it as a tool? Because that's the difference between a life of suffering and a life of peace. And in the end, there's only one question that matters. Are you going to keep running from yourself, or are you finally going to face what's inside and reclaim the power that's always been yours? There's a trap almost everyone falls into on the path to peace: the obsession with control. They believe that if they can control their emotions, thoughts, and reactions, they'll find peace. That if they can control others, circumstances, or the future, nothing will shake them. But the truth is, the more you try to control, the more you suffer. Because control is an illusion. Life doesn't follow your script. People won't act as you expect. things won't always go your way. And the sooner you accept that, the closer you'll be to peace. Most people live in constant tension, worrying about the future, what others think, or whether they've been misunderstood. They're always resisting, always trying to anticipate what's coming, but all they do is drain themselves because total control doesn't exist. And the sooner you understand that, the sooner you'll free yourself. True, peace isn't about controlling life. It's about trusting that you can handle whatever comes. It's a subtle shift, but it changes everything. You stop needing guarantees. You stop clinging to the idea that everything must go your way. Instead, you develop an inner certainty. No matter what happens, I'll find a way to stand. But there's something working against you. The fear of uncertainty. The fear of not knowing what's coming. And that's what keeps you trapped in the illusion of control. You think that if you plan enough, analyze every possibility, and prepare for every scenario, you'll be safe. But you're never safe. Life will always surprise you, and the more you resist that, the more you suffer. The key isn't to avoid uncertainty, but to learn to be comfortable in it. The Stoics understood this. What disturbs men are not things, but the interpretations they give to them. The fear of the unknown comes from the stories you tell yourself about what could happen. It's your mind creating problems that don't exist. But if you accept uncertainty, everything changes. Because uncertainty isn't the enemy. It's the space where possibilities are born. Think about the best moments of your life. How many were perfectly planned? Almost none. The greatest experiences, the deepest lessons, the most profound changes happen in the unexpected. So, are you going to keep clinging to control, or are you going to learn to flow with life without fear? Because that's where real peace lies. Not in controlling every detail, but in trusting your ability to adapt. But there's a problem. Self-confidence isn't built overnight. And that's where your internal dialogue comes in. What good is accepting uncertainty if your own mind is your enemy? How can you find peace if every thought is an attack on yourself? Most people underestimate the power of their inner voice. They don't realize that what they tell themselves becomes their reality. If your inner dialogue is full of criticism, doubt, and negativity, you'll always be at war with yourself. The key is to change how you talk to yourself. If every mistake feels like an attack on your worth, you'll never have peace. If every failure is met with self-punishment instead of learning, you'll never be free. If every negative thought is taken as truth instead of questioned, you'll remain trapped. The voice in your head isn't the truth. It's an echo of your beliefs, your past, and your fears. But you can change it. You can reprogram it. You can train your mind to work for you, not against you. And when you do, everything changes. Because true peace isn't just the absence of external conflict. It's the ability to live in harmony with your own thoughts. So, are you going to let your mind be your prison, or are you going to make it your ally? Because the peace you're looking for isn't in controlling life. It's in learning to live in peace with yourself, and that's the greatest power you can achieve. So, what does all this mean? Peace isn't something you find. It's something you build day by day, thought by thought, decision by decision. It's the result of what you allow in your mind, what you let go of, and how you choose to interpret what happens to you. People keep looking for answers outside when the answers have always been inside. They wait for life to change when the only change that matters is the one within. Here's the truth. No one is coming to save you. No guru, book, or video will do the work for you. The power to find peace has always been in your hands. The difference between those who suffer and those who find peace isn't luck or circumstances. It's what they do with what they have. It's how they interpret their experiences and what they choose to believe about themselves. So, the real question isn't whether you can achieve peace. You can. The question is, are you willing to do what it takes? Because inner peace requires effort. It requires facing yourself, questioning your beliefs, and letting go of the past. It requires accepting the present and stopping the fear of the future. Most people aren't willing to pay that price. They prefer to stay in their comfort zone, even if it means staying at war with themselves. But if you've come this far, if you're still listening, it's because deep down you know there's another way to live. You know that true freedom isn't outside you, it's within. So here's the challenge. Choose. You can keep letting the world dictate your emotions, reacting to everything outside you and being a victim of your thoughts. Or you can start changing step by step, moment by moment. Every time you choose to let go instead of clinging, to question instead of react, to observe instead of identify, you're building the peace you've been searching for. And the good news is, you don't have to wait. You can start now, in this very moment. Because peace isn't in the future. It's in how you choose to live right now. So, what do you choose? If this resonated with you, leave a comment with this phrase, I choose peace. Because writing it isn't just a comment, it's a commitment.